Greetings and welcome to session 2 of our journey through the first letter of John. On this session we're at chapter 1 and reading from verse 5, which reads like this. This is the message we have heard from him and proclaim to you, that God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. If we say we have fellowship with him while we walk in darkness, we lie and do not practice the truth. But if we walk in the light as he is in the light, we have fellowship with one another, and the blood of Jesus, his Son, cleanses us from all sin. God is light. In him there is no darkness at all. When I was very young, I remember being on holiday, and because we didn't have a lot of money when I was young, one of the things that we used to do was my dad would have a week off, and we would go on day trips because we couldn't afford to go and stay anywhere, so we would go on day trips to various attractions. And I remember going up into Derbyshire, into what I remember being called something like the Blue John Mines. So there's a stone called Blue John. It was mined there basically, and I remember there was a tour guide taking us through these underground caverns, and at one point we stopped, and the tour guide had us all stand somewhere safe, and he turned out the lights, and it was absolutely pitch black. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face. You couldn't see anything. It was almost like somebody had put a black hood over your head. You weren't seeing anything. It was total darkness. There was no light at all. Then, of course, when you switched the light back on, you could see everything. Now, there were some areas with shadows because there were objects blocking the light. More about that in a moment. But the light dispelled the darkness. Darkness is an absence of light. And as John is talking to us here, he was saying that if we have fellowship with God, we should be walking in light. That light should be filling our lives. And if we're walking in darkness, then actually if we say we're following him, we're lying because we're walking in darkness. It's a massive challenge that we should have light flooding into our lives, and as the light of Christ floods into our lives, it should dispel darkness. There are, however, even when we're making that journey, there can be shadows, because there will be objects, there will be things that get in the way of the light, which create shadows in our lives. And the journey that John would have us on is the journey towards Jesus, where his light fills us so much that even those shadows are dispelled, because the objects that cause the shadows are removed from our lives, and our lives become absolutely filled with life and light. And we become, in every sense, followers of Jesus. So as we work through this passage tonight, just let the Lord speak to you about maybe objects, maybe obstacles in your life that cause shadows to be there, and how we're going to get rid of those things. How will God help us? Let's ask him, and let's submit our lives to him, and let him deal with that stuff in our lives, so that we can become filled with light and become, in every sense, true disciples of Jesus. I hope you have a good time looking through this passage, and hope you have some great discussion, and I'll be back later.